If you want to see Jesus, you must be saved. You must be saved. You gotta be saved. You must be saved.
Yes, you must be saved from all of your sins. Marvel not marble. I heard some of y'all. That's horrible. Learn the words to the song. Listen, you're tuned into the Jubilee Afternoon Drive. 6 minutes into the 5 o'clock hour. PK Hernandez Jr. here with you. And it's 88 degrees and partly cloudy in the St. Louis metro area. And listen, normally on Wednesdays, I let the music do the talking for me. But I got a special guest in the studio, and we've got to hear from the elect lady. Sylvia Watkins is in the building. We call her LadySyl. What's going on, ma'am?
How are you, sir?
I am blessed and highly favored of the Lord. Now, listen, I was here minding my own business on yesterday. Right here in the studio, doing what I normally do. And I saw an alert come up that Sylvia Watkins has a new Facebook Live that she's doing.
I do.
Tell us what's going on with you. And we know that you are currently in production with Be-YOU-Ti-Ful with LadySyl on the Dynasty TV network.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay.
A little bit about the show.
Sure.
And what you're doing on Facebook Live that everybody should be tuned into.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you all so much for indulging me for the next few minutes. I definitely don't want to distract you from your musical pleasure. But my very dear brother, Hernandez, has given me this opportunity just to stop by and talk about everything that's going on with LadySyl. But my official name is Sylvia Watkins, but I do go by LadySyl. And I have been given just an enormous opportunity with Dynasty Television. Dynasty Television is still a fairly new television station here in St. Louis. And I have a show called Be-YOU-Ti-Ful with LadySyl. We just completed wrapping the beginning of season 2 of Be-YOU-Ti-Ful LadySyl. And with this show, I'm able to sit down and have very transparent conversations with people from all walks of life about what they do to stay true to who they are and what they do to stay true to what they've been called to do. So I enjoy being able, I don't like to call them interviews. I love to call them conversations, because I think when we sit down and really listen to each other, there are so many things that we can learn. So that's what I've been able to do with Dynasty Television thus far. When we began season 2, we have a brand new home. We are at the Medici media space, so I'm very, very excited about that. And we had a brand new set for season 2, and it just turned out so nicely. We have brand new producers, along with the executive producers of Be-YOU-Ti-Ful LadySyl. I have to give a shout out to Bishop Wilford Lee, my very long time mentor. And of course, the owner of Dynasty Television, David Beckford. So, I am so enjoying this ride. I never thought that I had a voice to do anything up until this point. I did a lot of behind the scenes. I did a lot of event planning. I did business management for my brother's group, Chris and Kyle and True Spirit. Chris, is my biological brother, but Kyle's my brother too.
Oh, yeah.
So I did that for about 15 years with my brother for life, Craig Towns. Shout out to him and his wife, one of my best friends in the world, Tony Towns.
Love the Towns.
Yes, love them. So, I've been afforded to do a lot. But again, I didn't know I had a voice because I was so used to being in the background. But what I am so glad to know is that God has a purpose and plan for our lives, even when we are not totally aware of it. All we have to do is be in a position to hear what the Spirit is saying to us. So, this is just this walk with Dynasty is really so watering, if you will, for me, because it allows me to be so fulfilled in a way that I never had been before. So that is my Dynasty Television journey up until this far, and we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. What can I say?
Amen. We're praying for you, definitely.
Thank you.
You know, your story reminds me of mine, and I think we discussed this before, because a lot of times I was like, man, I don't have a voice in this city.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
And so many people call during the day when I'm here and just say, wow, PK, can't nobody touch you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Sister Gloria. But they say, PK, can't nobody touch you.
Yeah.
And you're doing all this great stuff, and you know how we are.
Sure.
Especially those that have been children of ministry, have been working in ministry.
Absolutely.
We don't take that praise well.
Yeah.
We put it down into the pit of our stomach. And like, no, it's not us.
Sure.
But God is opening up these things for certain people, because and we were just talking about, we're losing people daily.
Yes.
And what we're not gaining is people to take the place of those that have been lost.
Sure.
There's so many that have a voice or have had a voice and lost it, or that have not used it. And God is now raising up. Time has moved on.
Sure.
And God is moving us with it. So he's pushing us out into the forefront.
And you know, what you're saying is so crucial and so key. And what I am finding out as it relates to my own journey, or my own story, if you will, when I got to a place where there was nothing else left but God.
Oh, say that.
That's when my spirit was able to receive from him.
Yeah.
Because many times we have, you know, just the perils of life. We have issues. We have, you know, circumstances. We have kids and jobs and mortgages and, you know, rent and car notes and, you know, leading this and got to be there and responsibilities. And we just have so many things going on that it clouds our spirit. It hinders our ability to clearly hear from God. Yeah. But when I got to a place where God had to remove some things, he had to remove some people, he had to remove me.
Yeah.
That's when I was able to clearly hear what God was doing. And it was intimidating because I'm going down a road I haven't been down before. But that's when your faith and your trust in God gets that much stronger. So, yeah, we are definitely experiencing a transition, not only physically, but we're also experiencing a transition for some geographically. And then from some, just transitioning our thinking, transitioning our mentality. So it is quite a journey. It is quite a season that I think many of us are in.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of times we talk about how our paradigm has to shift.
Oh, absolutely.
And you just said it with the thinking, but it's more than just the thinking. It's the way that we feel about things.
Sure.
It's the way
our perceptions.
Exactly. The way we process things. And too many times we see ourselves as lesser when God has already put in his vision.
Come on.
That we're former.
Come on.
And we need to start walking in God's vision for us and not on our vision for ourselves.
That is really good. I remember this was several years ago, and at the time I was the events director at Power of Change Christian Church. Yes, Bishop and Pastor Phillips. And I was, on duty doing my thing, and we were in revival. And I remember the evangelist for the revival, she came off the stage. I remember it like it was yesterday. And she walked right over to me, because I used to sit on the front row. And she walked right over to me and looked me square in my eye and said, "Raise your level of thinking."
Wow.
She said, "You think too low of yourself." Yeah. She said, "Raise your level of thinking." And I stood there so just vulnerable and not quite sure even what to do with that kind of word. And at the time, I didn't quite understand completely what she meant. But, I got it now.
Oh, yeah.
When we start to think more highly of ourselves, and I'm not suggesting being arrogant. I'm not suggesting looking down on other people.
Right.
But when you start to value who you are, that's when the world will mimic that back unto you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think for so many of us, women, men, young people, when we truly recognize and take ownership of our value, that dictates everything. That dictates what you allow. That dictates what you the positions you put yourself in. It dictates who you allow into your personal space. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that you shun the world. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when you start to look at yourself in a more valuable light, then you'll start to attract valuable people. Oh, yeah. You'll start to attract authentic situations, authentic relationships. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I can kind of go on and on.
I'm so feeling you because I was just trying to get a word in edgewise because you're right in my Kool-Aid stirring all it up. But listen, so many times we, and you just said it, we think so lowly of ourselves that only low things come to us.
Absolutely.
And even the word of God says it, speak those things that
come
be
on.
not as though they were.
They already were.
And we have to start having confidence in the word that God put on the inside of us.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we sit there and we sit on the scripture.
Sure.
Well, the word says that, but do you really believe it?
And see, here's another thing. It was so easy for me to believe God for other people.
Oh, my God.
It was so easy for me. And just quick story, in the 15 years that I was with Chris and Kyle, and we put on concerts and recordings and CD releases, and we did all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And we would always sit down at the table with zero budget. Mm-hmm. Literally zero budget, not knowing where the money was going to come from, not knowing, we just didn't know. Yeah. Every single time I would walk away with the confidence in knowing that God was going to do it.
That's right.
The confidence in knowing that God was going to make covenant with his word toward us.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying?
Say that.
And every single time he did it. Every single solitary time. So that was easier for me. Mm-hmm. But then a couple years ago when I got to a place where I had to start believing God for me, that was a horse of another color, as someone used to tell me years ago.
Yeah.
But when we start to hold fast to the word of God, and when I say hold fast, I mean internalize it, speak it, be it, exhort it, that's when our faith will arise. And that's when we can truly believe for what God has for us.
My God, today. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to LadySyl of Be-YOU-Ti-Ful with LadySyl. That is going to be airing on Dynasty television. That's currently in production. And tell us a little bit more about how we can get in touch with you. I know some of the Jubilee listeners are like, who is this? I need to know what church you go to and all this stuff. Just tell the folk who you are and how they can get in contact with you, how they can hear more from you, and how they can follow you on Facebook so they can follow those Facebook lives.
Absolutely. So like Hernandez said, our season 2 is in production, and I am praying that the first episode of season 2 will be ready shortly, and you cannot miss the first show of season 2. It was an absolutely incredible conversation I had with Bishop Antoine Jackson from the Equation Church. Just right incredible man of God.
Love Bishop Antoine.
If you want to keep up with what's going on with all things concerning LadySyl, what you can do is a few things. You can go to the Dynasty Television website, www.dynastytelevision.com. And you will be able to follow what's going on with us. There are some episodes on the website now from season 1. And actually, one of the episodes that's on the website is a conversation I had with 690's very own Casey Starlong. She was just amazing to talk to. So you can go to the website. You can also follow me on all things social media. I am on Facebook, and you can find me simply as Sylvia Watkins on Facebook. I am also on Instagram at LadySyl, and I'm also on Twitter as Sylvia Watkins. So those are all the ways that you can keep up with us. You know, the other thing that we're working on now is what I like to call the Be-YOU-Ti-Ful circle. Because what I found, because of the television show, it really has allowed me to go to stand in front of various audiences and venues and things like that. And I end up having the same conversation with different people. So I'm like, okay, God, tell me what you want me to do. So then I felt the need to just share more. So from that was birthed the Be-YOU-Ti-Ful Circle. And the Be-YOU-Ti-Ful Circle is a 4-week online course that will begin in September, the second Saturday morning in September. And what I did was, because I'm an educator, I've been teaching for 20 years now. What I did was I sat down and put together a curriculum of objectives that focus on what practical things can people do if they find themselves in a season of life where they haven't made themselves a priority. They've kind of let themselves go, and you can let yourself go in multiple ways, whether it be with your health, with your wellness, living out of balance. You know, you're working 24/7, you got kids, you have a spouse, your life is just kind of out of control. And you're trying to figure out, okay, what can you do to kind of bring your life in alignment to what God would have for you? So that is one of the objectives of the Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle. The second objective is to give people practical tools. Because it's one thing to say, okay, my life is out of balance, or I'm not in alignment, or I got too much going on, or I just let myself go. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to figure out, okay, now how do I do that? How do I bring my life into alignment? How do I find more balance? So that's the second objective. We're going to step by step take you through how the tools. What can you do? What tools can you use in order to find that balance? And then the third objective of the Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle, I remember when I was transitioning and from a particular leadership position, and someone sat down and talked to me, and they told me something I will never forget. They said to me, "I pray that you find joy." And I never recognized or realized that I didn't even have it. Mm-hmm. Because it's one thing to work. Yeah. It's one thing to work in ministry. Please hear me. It's one thing to give, because we're called to be servants. So please don't misunderstand me. But it's another thing to do it from a joyful heart. It's another thing to do it out of a peace, out of a contentment. So the third objective of the Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle, we're going to talk about what can you do to restore your joy. Wow. What can you do to not only restore the joy of your salvation, but also what can you do to restore the joy that comes from knowing and appreciating and valuing who you are. So those are the three objectives of the Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle. So those who are listening, if you would like to be a part of the Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle, all you have to do right now is one thing. All you have to do is email me at www.beyoutifulcircle@gmail.com. I'll spell it out. www.beyoutifulcircle, Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle @gmail.com. Email me and say, Sylvia, LadySyl, I'm in. And then I will send you additional information. Now, let me end by saying this. There is a fee associated with being a part of the circle, but let me just say this to you. If someone is listening and you know that this is something you may need, email me anyway. Do not listen and say, yeah, I kind of need that, but my finances aren't. No. Let's dismiss that. Let's dismiss. And when I say excuses, I'm not diminishing the value of your finances. So please don't misunderstand that. But what I'm saying is, if you can clearly identify that this is the timing of God, and if you can clearly identify that this is something you need, let's work it out together. I'm not in this for money. That is not my, that's not a priority for me. I've been in ministry for multiple years doing multiple things, and that's just not an issue, because my take on that is, first of all, God will supply all of your needs according to his riches. Right. And then two, I truly believe that whatever you sow, that also is what you'll reap. So if you're listening, you want to be a part of the circle, email me today and we will work it out.
Wow. LadySyl, now what's the circle called again?
Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle.
The Be-You-Ti-Ful Circle.
Be-You-Ti-Ful
and men
Circle.
are encouraged too.
Men are encouraged. I
want to be beautiful.
Men are encouraged. A few men have reached out to me already. Yes, this is not just for women. Men, women, young people. I'm here. Let's do this.
So LadySyl's going to leave me some information, and we're connected. She's going to be coming back periodically, talking more about the show, more about what she's doing, the great conversations that she's having. And I love the way that you put that. You're just conversating with people.
Yes.
And sometimes that's all somebody needs.
Absolutely.
And I want to encourage you because, you know, you were saying that there's a cost associated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a cost associated with the anointing that you carry.
Well, sir,
somebody got to put something on something.
This is what the Spirit is saying to the church. Come on.
But listen, I say it all the time, just like there's Jubilee in the air.
Yeah.
There's a reason that it's in the air because someone paid the cost to put it there.
Come on.
Shouts out to all of our partners and advertisers, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be hearing us.
Yes.
So think about it. Partner with someone that is good ground.
Sure.
This is good ground here. If you are encouraged by this, there's going to be more where this comes from. LadySyl, one more time, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
I want to give a shout out to, this has been quite a few weeks for the village that I am in, so to speak. My nephew, CJ Watkins.
My boy.
Yes. He started at Morehouse.
At Morehouse College?
On Monday.
My God, today.
And I think I cried the day my brother and my sister-in-law took him up to school because I just don't want to accept that he's 18 and got his own money and got a girlfriend and at Morehouse.
He got a girlfriend?
She's sweet. Chloe is a sweetheart.
She better be, because we don't play that.
Right. So I got to give a shout-out to the village because Craig and Tony, their twins are going away to school. CJ Towns is already gone. They taking Courtney this week. Mm-hmm. Craig and Veronica Edwards, their baby is going off to school. Dana and Dwayne, their baby is going to be in school. So our little village, we just got all kinds of stuff going on. So
we're just emotional.
We really are. We really are. But I do want to encourage all the parents whose kids are either going off to school or staying at home and going to school. It's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right.
It's going to be okay.
We're going to make it.
We're going to make it. We cried and... Oh Lord, it was tough letting them go. But I truly believe that if we have given our kids wings, they'll fly.
I know that's right.
So, for all of the parents in the village, we going to do this. It's a little rough, but we going to get through it.
Oh, yeah. We just celebrated an 18-year-old in our house.
Oh, really?
So, hey.
Oh, my. That's a big number.
I know. Lord, we
you ready? But, you and the wife ready?
Hey. But, luckily, she's a little special. So we get some reprieve with Dana Dane. But
I hear you.
Hopefully she might be in the car now. She's on her way to her mother's house.
Okay.
Or her grandmother's house to celebrate grandma's birthday. So Lisa Union,
shouts
out to you. Happy birthday,
Miss Union.
And again, we have been talking with LadySyl. And LadySyl, please, can you come back with us?
Oh, absolutely.
We love you so much.
Let me know, and I'm here.
Absolutely. So listen, keep it locked right here to Jubilee 690 AM on behalf of all of us here at Jubilee. And I want you to keep saying that. There is Jubilee in the air. See, God gave me that
there
way.
There is Jubilee in the air.
Hey,
come on.
Not only on the radio airwaves, but on your phone, your PC, anything.
There you go.
Keep it locked right here because we are always working on your behalf for God's glory.
Sounds good to me. Over my head. That's a St. Louis Gospel Choir old song. Over my head. I hear music in the air. There must be. Come on.
A God
somewhere.
Hold on. That was a Baptist fit right there. Hold on. Let's get out of here. See, this is crazy. Keep listening.